Namaskar. Hello and welcome to PGurus channel. I am your host Sri Iyer, and with me today is Dr. Kanniks 𝙤𝙬𝙤𝙦, and we are going to have a conversation about his new album called Reflections, where you are going to start seeing some of that in our videos. You probably already saw two of them, Bhimpalas and Jog, and we are going to have a few more coming your way to understand all these things, how this thing came about, and to understand Dr. Kanniks, the music composer. Let's welcome our guest, Dr. Kanniks. Namaskaram.
Namaskaram.
Welcome to PGurus channel.
Thank you so much. This is the first time we're meeting in person in front of the camera.
Yes,
Yeah.
indeed. Yes, indeed. And viewers, I have known Dr. Kanniks. He did a production called Shanti a few years ago. That was the first time I kind of met, but that was like he was in the middle of a group of 150 people, huge orchestra, was a fantastic recitation, if I might say so. And we had like several programs, like 4 or 5 in the Bay Area, spaced over a few
Yes.
years, right?
Yeah.
And
In few years also.
Yes.
Yeah.
Now, let's talk a little bit about your latest work that PGurus is using as part of our way to honor you, your work. Reflections.
First of all, thank you so much, Sri Iyer, for that very kind introduction. And I'm happy to share about this is an ongoing work. Reflections is an ongoing work. I mean, it's you were going to say something when I interrupted. So
no, nothing at all. What I was going to say was the first one that I introduced to our audience was Bhimpalas. And Bhimpalas had so many people responding because I had, made it into a conversational thing. I said, viewers, if you can remember or I can recognize a movie song based on this raga, then please do chime in. And there have a lot of people who are giving in all these names. Dr. Kanniks, first off, give us why the set of ragas that you have chosen. You can name some of them, that's fine.
Yeah.
And then we can go over some of the nuances. One of the questions that our viewers ask me, I'm going to ask you for your clarification on some of those things. So go ahead.
Definitely. This is a topic that I love to talk about. See, I started playing around with ragas when I was a little kid, probably like you. So I was like 7 years old when I could recognize several ragas. And the same thing continued with my daughter. When she was 7, she used to be able to define and describe all the 72 Melakarta ragas, as well as recognize several others when she was 5. So even during that time, I started recording a set of short expositions of ragas, which I named as raga-lets. So you have it's a mini exposition of a raga. So from that time onwards, it has been in my head to actually record something formally. So Reflections is actually an ongoing work. This can never stop, as you can know, because it's like there's the number of possible ragas and the number of ragas in vogue itself is quite a lot. So how do you express a raga within a minute?
Yes.
And how do you express it in a way that is accessible to people? That somebody can hum a tune actually and then correlate that with the name of the raga. And actually I did that to a large extent in the Rag Darshan project, which was released last year. You had talked about it also. So that is 75 ragas in one composition, titled Vande Mataram, and each line contains the name of the raga also in it. And that was, of course, inspired by Muthuswami Dikshitha, and most of my work is inspired by Muthuswami Dikshitha, but this one is for the want of a better word, it's on the, I don't want to use the word light because there's nothing light about it, but this is more on the contemporary side, using a number of instruments and something that really catches you.
Yes.
So it's going to be an ongoing series of tons of ragas, hopefully. Hopefully it'll all come to fruition over the next 3-4 years, like on an ongoing basis. Keep recording these raga-lets.
Yes, indeed, absolutely. And viewers, you may have remembered the Desh-based Vande Mataram. I had used that part alone in some of my videos as a prelude.
Yeah. Correct. Yes. That starts in Desh, then goes on to Purvi and so on and so forth.
Yes. So you did do that. Now let's come to our Reflections series of episodes. The first one we put out was Bhimpalas.
Bhimpalas, yes.
Right? Now Bhimpalas, people recognize, of course, I gave them a tune. I am not even sure if the tune is completely based on Bhimpalas or not. But regardless, it triggered a thought in people's mind. They came back with many suggestions. Now, Bhimpalas, you and I had a discussion about this. you said that around it there are fairly well-known ragas
Yes.
that sound like this. Can you talk to us a little bit about the differences between, for example, Abheri and Bhimpalas, Dhanasri, or things like that? Go ahead.
Oh, definitely. If I got into history, Abheri is an old raga which is different from the current Abheri that you listen with Nagumomo. Both are called Abheri. Okay, but let me go into it. When I learned music, when I learned the composition Nagumomo Ganalini, my teacher referred to it as Karnataka Devagandhari. She did not call it Abheri. So then when I went and sang it somewhere else, they asked me, what raga is this? Karnataka Devagandhari. Poda, unak theriyum, onnum theriyadu, idu Abheri. What is this? Then as a little boy, 10, 11 years old, you start wondering, most people are saying Abheri and some people are saying very few people are saying Karnataka Devagandhari. Then I reconcile, it must be the same. See,
if I have to,
yeah.
I forgot that I'm not speaking into the mic. Maybe I can just keep it here. That way it's equidistant.
Sure.
One of the things that has evolved about raga names, and this is specific to Carnatic music, is some of the ragas are named along the Tyagaraja school, and the same ragas have different names when it is mentioned in Muthuswami Dikshidhar school.
Let me
Can I say that? Yeah.
Ragas have a set of names in the Dikshidhar school, and some of them have different names in the Tyagaraja school.
It is who you are talking to that makes a difference.
Yeah. So because Dikshidhar follows the older terminology.
I see.
Which was followed by somebody called Venkatamakhi, whose grandson was the guru of Dikshidhar's father.
Oh, wow. So you actually triggered another thought here.
Yeah.
Venkatamakhi was believed to have come from what was the erstwhile Karnataka. Is that true?
No, his ancestors came from that.
Yeah, okay.
Very much, yes.
Okay.
So it's like a lot of integration happening in there, right?
Yes.
Like, but it was not restricted to this region alone. So it's like spread of knowledge from the Vijayanagara thing to the Nayaka court in Tanjavur. And then where it took root, then he published his work on theory. His ancestors had migrated and he published his work on theory, which was expanded upon by his grandson and which was taught to Ramaswamy Dikshit, the father of Muthuswamy Dikshit. He taught it to his son, and his nephew documented all that in the early 1900s. And so we are so lucky that 100 years later, we have all this available
body of work to look at and appreciate.
Yeah,
absolutely.
But that's a digression. Let's go back to Bhimpalas.
Yes.
Bhimpalas, so the way I had phrased it in the Rag Darshan composition is Palasa Pushpa Sankasa Karunam Bhoja Charanam Palasa. Bhimpalas word doesn't come there, but Palasa Pushpa Sankasa.
Okay.
So you kind of have the word in the introduction to a hint of the name Bhimpalas in there. So Tamil, when people say Bhimpalas, they say Bhimplas. Plus 3 in சொல்ற மாதிரி they say Bhimplas.
Yeah. So the A is omitted.
No, plus. So plus 3 அப்படிங்கிற மாதிரி the la also becomes thickened. See, in any event, what's the most popular composition in Bhimpalasi in Carnatic music? Do you have an idea? One of your favorite singers.
Madurai Iyer. Yes.
வெள்ளை தாமரை பூவில்.
Yeah,
வெள்ளை தாமரை பூவில் இருப்பாள் வீணை செய்யும் நிசமாக கமபனி பனி சகரே நிசா பசனி தமப கமப Damapaga Sagamapaga Sa. That is Bhimpalas.
So back to Abheri versus Bhimpalas, because it sounded very, very close to Abheri.
It is close to Abheri because the notes used are the same. Sagamapani sa sanida pamagari sa. But in Bhimpalas, it's more flowy. It's slightly lighter. Some other prayogams come into being with the older Abheri. It used to be Sagama pani sa sanida pamagari sa Veena Bheri Venuvadyadi Vinodini Medini Rakshamam Veena Bheri. So the notes are same except the dha is different. Sagama pani sa sanida pamagari sa. That is traditional Abheri. Okay. And in the Dikshidhar school, Devagandhari is sa ga ma pa ni sa ni da pa ma ga re sa, what we refer to as Bhimpalas, right? Or modern Abheri. So Kayarohanesham, that's a composition that is attributed to 𝙤𝙧𝙤𝙬, but some people say that it is not. So that's a different topic that we will go into that later. So you have old Abheri, you have the new Abheri, which is really, really popular in the because of Tyagaraja and because of the later compositions that came into being. So now how do you reconcile those? And on top of that, to complicate all the matters, there's another raga called Devakandhari.
Yes.
So
Panchashat Peter Rupani.
Illa, Panchashat Peter Rupani is the same thing as this. Devakandhari.
Oh, okay.
It is older.
Guys, we are coming to Carnatic. I mean, we are going to come to movies in just one moment. You have to understand the basics first, then we will go and look at the applications. The songs and the movies are applications of the theory. That's what we are discussing.
And Panchashat Peter Rupani is also not, it is attributed to 𝙤𝙧𝙤𝙀, but that's a completely different topic as to whether it was 𝙤𝙧𝙤𝙀 or not.
Let's
but anyway, that is okay. That's also in Karnataka Devakandhari. Okay, so they were all Devakandhari. Now you have Devakandhari, which is Yenneramum undan sannidhile nan. So that is Devakandhari. Kshirasagara. So we are getting into some hardcore music here.
Yes.
But anyway, to distinguish Devakandhari from the other ragam is referred to as Karnataka Devakandhari, which is not the old Abheri. Okay? So, nalla kodivitachliya.
Yes. So, no, small nuances. That's fine. See,
and then,
music is...
on top of that, Geeta Dhuni Kuta.
I was going to come to that, Dhanasri.
Yeah. Because when you heard the tune that I sent you, your immediate reaction, Dhanasri marila irukku.
Yes.
So, Dhanasri also uses the same notes.
Yes. So just one second. I have to restrain you because this is a very important song. Geeta Dhwaniki is a Tilana composed by Swati Tirunal in Dhanasri, and it is written in Hindi.
Okay, let me throw something into that.
Go ahead.
That Tilana is actually composed by 𝙤𝙧𝙤𝙀 Jagrata. He used the Sahityam from Swati Tirunal.
Oh, I see. So they're set to music by 𝙤𝙧𝙤.
No, Swati Tirunal wrote a Dhrupad in Yaman.
Okay.
Padumanabha tumhari लीला क्या कहूँ. No, Kalyani. मैं सावरो ताप संकट शरण आयो सो हमारो तुम्हारो आज आए शाम. Beautiful composition.
Yes.
Yaman.
So Yaman for Carnatic is
it's Kalyani.
And Yaman Kalyan in Hindustani is
Nehno me Malayana.
Jabdeep Jalayana. Yes.
Ana Krishnani.
Right.
Vegane baru. Yamuna Kalyani.
That is Yamuna Kalyani. So Yaman Kalyan is Yamuna Kalyani. I'm just trying to keep all of us, together. These are fascinating things. I won't get this kind of a chance to talk to Dr. Kanniks again. So here we're going to go all over the place, but we'll be back on our main topic, which was Bhimpalas.
Okay.
So somebody asked me.
So the Dhanasri Tilana was actually created by 𝙤𝙧𝙤𝙀 with the text of the Yaman Dhrupad from Swati Tirunal.
Oh, wow. Yes. So you know what? We use it in our school.
Yeah.
So I have to correct that lyrics by this thing, written by and composed by...
but in generally, even in the Kachari circles, they call it a Swati Tirunal Tilana. So in Marabu, so that's a general convention. So it's okay, but I think as a special reference.
Yes.
𝙤𝙧𝙤𝙀.
Wonderful. So we've got that past that one. The other song that people identified with Bhimpalas was Bolna Halke Halke.
I don't know that song. Oh, how does it go?
धागे तोड़ लाऊं चांदनी के नोट ना 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 बोल न हल्के हल्के
सा गरी सनी सामा pa gama pa ni da pa. So that has a flavor of Bhimpalas. I don't know the rest of the song. I'll have to listen to it properly to identify.
So guys, you're on the right track. This is how you appreciate music. Film music is not going to say just this particular rag. They will take a few, digressions here and there. It could be the scene, it could be the story, it could be whatever. It could be the creativity of the music composer, and that's how you will normally see it. So Bolna Halke Halke has definite patterns that resemble Bhimpalas. The other song,
किस्मत से तुम हमको मिले तो कैसे छोड़ेंगे ये हाथ हम ना जोड़ेंगे
ये हाथ हम ना छोड़ेंगे.
ये हाथ हम ना छोड़ेंगे whatever छोड़ेंगे जोड़ेंगे ரெண்டும்.
Yeah, but you get the idea. This is the tune that we are trying to identify. See, the other thing is, I think, what about Malayil Yaro by Ilayaraja?
மாலையில் யாரோ மனதோடு பேச. That is more Suddha Dhanasri.
Okay.
Saga ma pa ni sa ni pa ma ga sa, which is referred to as Dhani in Hindustani music.
Okay.
கண்கள் எங்கே நெஞ்சமும் அங்கே சென் கண்ட போதே சென்றன அங்கமகனிசா. அதெல்லாம் Suddha Dhanasri, but there's some traces of the ta 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 ta. So angalam you get the the Bhimpalas,
so
Abheri
people
family
did
touch.
mention Dhani also.
Yeah, okay.
People did mention Dhani. So I was trying to trigger the people's thought by humming a tune.
Okay.
I'm trying to remember what it was. Na na na.
Tumile.
Yeah, that one. Na na na.
Yeah, same in the same vicinity, right?
Yes.
So there's if you go to this very common Murugan bhajan, Vel Muruga Vadivel Alaga Vel Muruga, adu varaikum Suddha Dhanasri. Ta 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 Vel Muruga Subramanyane ve anga Bhimpalas.
Yes. So this is music for you, quintessential, and it is our pleasure to bring you all these variations. So you next time you listen to a movie song or a bhajan or a Carnatic composition, whatever it is, first try to think if you can identify the rag. And it is my hope that through all these different reflections, melodies that we are going to present to you, that you get to know and appreciate music a little bit more, a little bit closer. Then you like the song. Why do you like some song at the first time you hear it? That is the important thing.
Mama gaga mama sa gaga ni ni sa gaga sa mama sa ga sa papa sa ni ni sa ni da pa ma ga ga ma pa ni sa ga ri sa ni da pa ga ri sa ga ma.
கண்ணோடு காண்பதெல்லாம்.
Yeah.
So
the swaram part of that is in the Bhimpalas Abheri territory.
Yes.
But இது கண் சல 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 ரெட்டை கிளவி தக 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 ரெட்டை கிளவி ஒன்றல்லோ தமிழில் ஒன்றல்லோ அது மாபாசா நீபா மாபாசா நீ பாப்பா 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 மாமா பா அதெல்லாம் Suddha Dhanasri. So cinema you can take liberties. ஒரு தடவை I had a conversation with K Balachandar. So he was, he all his movies had his touch. All the music in his movies had his own touch also, because he had a big influence on the film composers that worked with him.
I want like this song.
So he had asked me to compose a set of songs, which I did. Then he said, Kanniks, nobody is going to hold you to task because you violated the rules in a certain raga. This is a creative world. You can do whatever you want.
Correct.
You don't have to stick to a raga 100%. You can use ragas for effect and things like this. This is kacheri kadiyadu. This is not a sadas or anything like that. This is cinema. Cinema la vandu neenga eppadi pandringalo pannungo அப்படினு அவர் சொன்னார். I will never. I mean that's a very powerful piece of advice.
Absolutely. One of the best directors ever to have graced the movie industry in India.
Yeah. One question.
Yeah.
Okay, it is recording.
No, it is. Yeah. I see the red.
Yeah.
No worries. It's going straight. So let's take a look at Jog.
Yeah.
Jog was something that we used as a part of a walk by Prime Minister. This was just my inspiration. I wanted to use the entire 58 seconds of the composition. I did that. Now, Jog, you've told me that it is equivalent in Carnatic is maybe Nattai. I'm not 100% sure.
No, it is.
What is the...
Technically, it doesn't have an equivalent. People say Nattai are the equivalent abdine. The only equivalence, see, Nattai is
there are some note differences.
See, sa re ga ma அப்படி வரும். சா சா கா சா ரே கா மா பா தா நீ சா சா நீ தா பா மா க ரே சா. That is called Chalanattai.
Yes.
உன் பார்வை ஒரு வரம்.
Yes, I was going to say that and you got it.
உன் பார்வை ஒரு வரம், இன்வரும் முனிவரும் தடுமாறும் கனிவரம், அப்படி வருது இல்லையா? ஸோ பட் அண்ட் நாட்டை இஸ் லைக் சனிதா பா, அப்படி அதிகமாக வராமல் சரிகாமா நிறைய வரும். ஜகதா பனி ப மகம ப சனி ச நந்தகாரகா சாரே வரும். சசனி பா மப சசரி சம மாரி சமம், அந்த சின்ன கா டபுள்ஸ் அப் as a re. It's called விவாதி ரிஷபம் அப்படின்னு பேர். Again we getting into theory here. சசனி பா மப ச, this இந்த எல்லாருக்கும் தெரியணும் சசன், அது because it came in onion, right?
Yes, yes.
சசனி பா மப சசரி சம மாரி சமமா அப்பா அப்பா மம பாபா மரி சமரி சசானி பாப்பா மம பா சாசனி நிசனி நிசனி பா ரிசனி பா சனி பமா நி பமரி பமரி சா பாப்பா சசனி பமரி சா ரே காமா வருது பார்த்தீங்களா? ஸோ தட் இஸ் நாட்டை ஃபார் யூ. ஓகே, இன் ஜோக் சகமா க நீ க சா, அந்த the ga சின்ன ga is called as ga. So there are two gas in this raga as opposed to the ga doubling up as a re. Okay, that is on the theoretical side. But when you play them on an instrument, they may sound the same.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, yes.
But again, the prayogas are different, and the ni kadayadu jogla. You never have that. So that is.
So there are similarities, but there are significant differences.
Significant
also.
differences.
Yes.
So
Wonderful.
Pramadavanam pendum.
Yes.
So இதோட என்னோட மைண்ட் லைன் will be யோகானந்தாம் யுகந்தராம் யோகினீம் யோகதாம் யோக்யாம். That is yoga. அது வந்து யோக் and ஜோக்.
Right.
So yoga
you
is
very cleverly
yoga.
added both. Now, in Nattai, this is a little bit off, but at the same time still on topic. Okay. There are three. We talked about Nattai, we talked about Chalanattai, we also have Gambhira Nattai.
Yes.
We have 10 more minutes.
Yeah.
So, Gambhira Nattai.
Gambhira Nattai, yes.
What is the difference between Chalanattai, Gambhira Nattai?
Very good questions. You are நல்லா போறீங்க நீங்க. You are actually triggering me a lot in the short interview.
No,
but
people put us as comments.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, my viewers are just the best. You guys, inspire us to go and reach great heights. Please go ahead, sir.
Okay. So, Gambhira Nattai. As a child, I used to be confused because people refer to Gambhira Nattai as Nattai.
Yes.
இப்படின்னா வென்றிடுவேன் உன்னை வென்றிடுவேன் கேட்டுக்கீங்களா அந்த பாட்டு? இட்ஸ் இன் a movie called அகஸ்தியர். அதில் வந்து ராவணன் will sing this is how he'll start. வென்றிடுவேன் உன்னை வென்றிடுவேன் இந்த நாட்டையும் நாதத்தால் வென்றிடுவேன். அந்த நாட்டையும் நாதத்தால் வென்றிடுவேன் நாட்டைங்கிற பேர் வருது. பட் ஐ யூஸ் டு பி கன்ஃபியூஸ். சாரேகா வரலையேன்னு யாரை கேட்டாலும் படா அப்படின்னு விடுவாங்க. பிகாஸ் இட்ஸ் சினிமா பாட்டு அப்படின்னு. தென் யூ கோ டு டெம்பிள்ஸ் அண்ட் பிகினிங்ல வந்து they play something called Mallari.
Yes.
The Mallaris are always in this ragam, which I thought was Nattai, but not Nattai from Agasthyar movie.
Yes.
But it was the same raga. Sa ga ma pa ni sa sa ni pa ma ga sa. So that is Gambhira Nattai for you. So அது வந்து ஸ்ரீஜாலந்தரமாஷயா மைசூர் வாசுதேவாச்சாரியரோ யாரோ எழுதின காம்போசிஷன். இல்லை ஜெயச்சாமராஜ ஒடியார், somebody wrote this composition. It's in Sanskrit. It will be kind of like a Dikshita composition, but it's in Gambhira Nattai. பட் கம்பீர நாட்டையில் உங்களுக்கு நிறைய தேவார பதிகங்கள் உண்டு. தோடுடைய செவியன் விடையேறியோர் தூவெண் மதிசூடி காடுடைய சுடலை, அது கம்பீர நாட்டை. ஸோ அதில் வந்து சாரி அது வராது. சாகாமா பனிசா.
So I have to take viewers a little bit of a slight detour. There was a movie called Agastya. In Tamil it came. I don't know what other languages did it, but there was a competition between Agastya and Ravana. That is where I think you are talking about, right? Yeah. So if I remember correctly, the competition is vocal, then it also goes to Veena. There's a competition that goes on. They are doing Veena back and forth, Jugalbandi. And one of the threads breaks. When Ravana is playing furiously, one of his threads breaks. So it is believed that he takes out one narambu. What do you call narambu in...
On the competition, he doesn't do that.
I thought I saw that thing in the movie.
He pulls out the narambu only when he is playing for Shiva.
Oh, okay.
Under the 𝙤𝙧𝙤𝙪𝙤.
Oh, okay.
So what he does is he goes and tries to uproot the Kailasamalai to take it with him to his abode, which is Lanka. So Parvati gets furious. So she's, why can't you do something about it? So Shiva uses his thumb and presses the mountain, so he starts getting squeezed. So he knows that the only thing that can please Shiva is music and Veena Vadyam. So 10 தலையில ஒண்ணு பிடுங்கிட்டு ஒரு கை ஒண்ணு பிடுங்கி he joins them together and he fashions a veena. And he pulls out a couple of veins and makes them the strings and kind of plays Samaganamalam Padi. Then he pleases Shiva and Shiva says, okay, I'll let you go. So he goes back to Lanka. That is it.
But he leaves the mountain.
Mountain, Shiva and everything is intact. That's why actually, there's a place called Armenian Street in Paris Corner. And there's a temple called Kachaliswarar Temple. And as soon as you enter the temple, you'll see this depicted.
I see. I've been to Kachaliswarar Temple as a kid. I have not gone in the recent past.
Okay. As not journey, you will see it. And as a child, I remember just looking at it fascinated because there's been so many stories associated with the whole thing. Karaikala Mayar or Pakan should be walking on her hand. So, but anyway, you hit the thing. But Agasthyarla, that composition, Venridavain, is a good one to learn ragas. So in the Venridavain unnai when our party mudichona Agasthyar will take off. Venridavain unnai Venridavain Vairavi tunaivan padam panindu unnai.
So it is Bhairavi there.
Bhairavi there. Gambira Nade followed by Bhairavi.
By the way, guys, tell us what is, when I say Bhairava, who am I addressing? Don't answer now. I know you know the answer. So, hence Bhairavi also. Bhairava, Bhairavi, there is a relationship. Put it in comments. So,
one more finally on Gambira Nattai.
Yes.
In the Rag Darshan composition, if you go back and listen to for the first 15 ragas, you will hear Gambira Nattai. Dhiram dhira samarchitam Gambiram gaganantastham.
Wonderful. So I will put the link to the Rag Darshan in this description. Do listen to that because he has used some amazing ragas in there. My personal favorite, Nand also.
Nand is also there.
Yes.
Ananda Kanda Vimalam Sujalam Supalam Ananda Kanda Vimalam.
And there goes the next question for you. Which famous movie song is based on Nand? And the director did full justice to that rag. You listen to this just now, what you heard Dr. Kanniks say. You go back and, flip your Rolodex in your brain. What song have I heard about this? It's a beautiful song, one of the best by that composer. I'm not going to say anything more. You can add that also in comments. So moving forward, we have to wrap it up. You have to give a flight to catch, and I have time, but you have flight to catch. So wrapping it up, we have a few more ragas, 7 or 8 more ragas that are going to be coming along. In doing all these things, I have seen so far, I haven't heard all of them, I've seen so far, you've fairly strongly used flute to bring the point across.
Yeah.
Why?
In the upcoming ones, you'll see other instruments also.
Okay, got it.
That's how it is.
But in the first two, I saw flute, extremely beautifully done.
Thank you.
You want to talk about a little bit about the flautist? I leave it to you. But most reason is, when you think of a song and a composition, in Mozart, Salieri will be saying, this guy had every note in his mind when he was writing it because he sees his notes. There's not a single error, mistake, no correction. So how did your thought process evolve around what instrument to use?
See, it depends. It's like when you're going for a walk, something strikes you, okay, the flute so.
But why flute? That's the thing. Why not violin, for example?
Violin will be in certain other ragas. See, when I orchestrate, for instance, I recently wrote, not recently, a few years ago, I wrote something in a raga Latangi, which we should share at some point in time. It's for a full string quartet.
Wow.
So for 4 instruments, first violin, second violin, viola and cello playing. And it's like, it's along the lines of, it has the feel of a Baroque piece. A Baroque piece, Western classical piece written 300-400 years ago.
You Kanniks will go seamlessly from Carnatic to Hindustani to Western classical. You have to be with him. And right now he's in Baroque music. Please continue. I know all three, so I have great appreciation for all three.
No, but Baroque period, quartets, the mari kadiyadu. The instrument, on the instrumentation was changed. They used a lot of harpsichords and things like that. So my daughter recently orchestrated a piece with a harpsichord and all that. But the Latangi is, it's a very, very brisk piece. I'm just waiting to produce it, and once I produce it, I'll share it.
Wonderful.
Online. I think I've written one in completely in Raga Desh, again for a quartet. So we played it during a performance in Houston recently.
Wonderful.
Then I've written an overture, which is called the 𝙒𝙧𝙤𝙬 overture.
So you play something in a concert. Then if you want to go back, you have to go back to the studio and reproduce it, perhaps add a few notes here and there or something. How do you normally do that process?
Studio recording is a different ball game from a live performance.
Right.
So because in studio, what people did not have 50, 60 years ago is what we have. We use the metronome to sync everything.
Yes.
So we can have the metronome feeding into the ears, the headphones of people, and they sync to it in play. Because even if either Karanam Kappinal Maranam, there's a thing in Tamil. So even if one player is off just by a little bit, then the whole thing will be off.
Correct.
In a live performance, a lot of things get excused because the energy is so much.
Yes.
The live energy is so much.
I never watch a very, very beautiful program back on television. It will not give you the same energy.
It will not give you the same energy at all. And the recordings will have a processed effect. So, it's different from a grandma making hot Mysore Paks in the kitchen with irregular shape versus the Krishna Sweets Mysore Pak, which is perfect and sliced perfectly. I hope it doesn't offend anyone. This analogy.
No, not at all. There are stories about Mysore Pak, why it was named so, and so on and so forth. We will not go into that territory. But Dr. Kanniks, it was wonderful talking to you.
Thank you.
And I'm looking forward to many more compositions. In fact, you are going to get it. There are at least 2 more that I have in my bag that I'm going to release shortly, and a few more coming.
Aapki farmaish. So, if people are able to come up with requests and things like that over the period, as and when I can, I will record them.
Yes. And we are going to do this thing because without music there is no life. That is Sanatani life. Every Veda was sung in a particular rag. I mean, I can just go on and on why it is so and so on and so forth. But Kanniks, Dr. Kanniks, you have a flight to catch, and I'm sorry to let you go.
Thank you.
We would love to have you back again.
I've really enjoyed chatting together like this because when we do it on Zoom, it's not the same.
It's not the same.
And actually, I'm not sure if this is right. That we met last in 2016.
Yes.
And after that, we're meeting only now, isn't it?
Yes. You look younger. That's a different matter.
You look younger too. So, but the thing is, I can't believe that we've just been chatting on Zoom for the last so many years, but it still feels like we've been chatting in person.
Absolutely. The pleasure is all mine, sir. Thank you once again. Namaskar.
Thank you so much. Namaskar.